with you. Chainsaws and pole saws are not.
General repairs.
So we have two questions. Where should it actually, where would it actually belong, and can we give him the money? Is that where we're
Yes.
at? Okay.
I mean, I would take it out of the 481, the supplies, but
Well, Todd's issue, if I understand it, isn't that he doesn't want to put it in that line item.
It's that he
wants more.
he wants more.
Right.
Yes. So we're not gonna try to take it out of another line item. Like I said, my budget's tight already, folks. And you'll see tonight,
No, but
15.
we understand what you're saying, but the conversation now is that it shouldn't be in 5110.2 because that's equipment, so,
Yeah, so it would be 5110.481 is where I'll put it.
right, and you
All
want
right.
to just increase it.
What if we went up 1,000, Todd?
So
I
this,
guess it's better than nothing.
so this is gonna stay at 0? 5110.2 stays at 0?
Yeah.
And 481 goes up by 1,000?
Yeah, to 15.
Okay.
Moving down the, where are we?
And then the total goes up to,
You got travel and
Well, so if we go, the Travel Easy Pass on the other page that you just mentioned?
Yeah.
That went up from $225 this year to $750. Now, the reason for that is that you guys have been going over to, I'm forgetting the name of the company, but you've been going over across the bridge a lot more than you used to.
And we're gonna be now. I'll
Yeah.
explain later on.
to get the stone or.
Yep,
Yeah, it was the stone, so.
yep.
I think you've probably already spent $750 this year, or close to.
But you've saved more than that,
Oh, absolutely.
so it's worth it, right?
Because
Well,
they're
it's just
going
a-
over for.
Yeah, just a good point to make.
464, 5110, 464, fuel. We had $38,000, I believe, budgeted this year, and we blew that at the end of June. So we are hoping that gas prices are leveling off, although I'm hearing terrible things on the news today. So we raised it to $65,000 for the coming year, hoping that that will do. That was the number that Todd requested, and I agreed that it's.
what are you gonna end up with this year, you think?
Close to that.
Close to
or
It's gonna
more.
be around there, yeah.
At least the prices are going up. We just got a fuel delivery and it just went up a couple more cents.
Yeah.
And then with the news, who knows? Even though it's off state bid, it's still going crazy for us.
Todd requested 469, the cold and grater patch, to go from 45,000 to 50,000. That stuff has gotten more expensive as well because of oil prices. So it seems reasonable to me. Any comments on that?
Nope.
What about for the roads? Also, is that an increase or is that the same? You're talking about oil prices?
We'll explain that
Oh,
later
yeah, we'll
on.
get to that one.
Yeah.
I'm just going down the page.
Yeah, the one above that, 466.
Oh, the oil for roads.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what-
The oil for the roads, that's for like patching the road. So if a road gets damaged or something, we patch it and we put oil or the tar and stone
Yeah.
over it, just as a
but we
quick fix or
didn't,
something.
we didn't need to increase this one, though.
No, nope,
That's what Ellie's question was.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
did we
yeah,
not have to
yeah.
increase that line if it's
no.
related? Okay.
That's one of those things, with the roads, we have to budget in case there's a whole lot of repairs, but this year there hasn't seemed to have been a ton, but we never know what's going to happen after the winter.
Sure.
So we got to plan for some of these things, just in case. 471, other services rental. This is when they're renting equipment for tree cutting and rollers and things like that. It actually is a decrease from 20,000, and I did that based on current spending this year, which has been well below the 20,000
Don't
that
we
we
do
had
those-
budgeted.
Sharing thing with other towns?
Yeah,
But some stuff we can't, we got to contract out.
so that was a $4,500 cut there. 473, engineering services, increased from 500 to 1,000. We seem to be using Mr. Sotaro quite a bit lately. There are residents also that are causing us some headaches that we needed Sotaro for, so we needed to increase that. 476, wood signs, that was a decrease from 2,000. We spent almost none of that this year.
We have, because we've been having problems with the sign machine. So now that's our fall project, is start replacing all, because we're slowing down.
Okay.
We can't blacktop, we can't oil and stone. So now we're gonna go into replacing the wooden signs and the metal signs. And I just seen that, and the decrease to 500, then if we don't have enough for the wooden signs, then I'm going to go to metal signs for
Yeah.
the street signs.
All right.
And that's one thing I do not want to do, is switch over from our historical wooden road
Yeah,
signs,
I'm with
you know,
you.
the roads are the name of the roads.
So you'd like to keep it at the 2,000 that it was at?
Yes, I would.
All right,
For the wood signs?
yeah. 479, going down a little, the resident repairs for mailbox replacement, that's a new item this year. We have been pulling that out of here and there, so we added its own budget line of $500 when a plow accidentally hits a mailbox. Although with some, never mind. 482 was another change, miscellaneous safety OSHA, where we've increased the number of trainings for the guys, most of it because of the state requiring it, also because we've skipped some of them in the past, and we're trying not to skip them anymore.
So basically, every year, we need 10 hours of OSHA refresher, the bloodborne pathogen, the hazmat, we need the
Harassment one,
sexual
you guys did a
harassment, violence in the
CPR thing.
workplace. Then we just got done with the CPR AED and first aid training.
so that went from, that was an increase of $1,500 to cover that.
Are you using the organization we all belong to, the, what is it, AOT, to do those trainings, or our insurance
Oh,
carrier?
NYMER is covering some of them.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one in this section is the gear for the crew, $3,600. That's an increase, but it's based on the contract that we are in the middle of negotiating. So that gets us through general repairs, item 1.
There are a few line items that you did not cover. Is that
Yeah,
because they're
those are the ones
unchanged?
that are unchanged.
Okay, all right.
They did
thank
not go up or down.
you. Okay.
Moving forward. Yeah.
The lease radios, weren't we getting
So-
a grant for?
Yes, and so this grant, which still has not, we haven't gotten the paperwork all
No,
finished.
we
it hasn't
should be
been-
hearing back, we're on the final leg of that
Yeah, it hasn't been
grant with
approved.
Dee
When it
Barrett
gets
right
approved,
now.
we have to lease a tower. So that's a surplus this year because we did budget the same amount for this year, then didn't spend it. But if that comes through next year,
Yeah.
we'll need to lease the tower, the space on the tower for it.
Or we put a whole new antenna system here at the town hall complex and try to cover or something.
Well, I think we've decided we're going to do the lease thing.
Yeah.
So.
Wasn't that going to be in collaboration with the fire departments? Or
So what it is these radios, the fire departments are currently on high band, our highway department's on low band.
Right.
And so this will make it so that the highway could speak to,
We can speak to the fire departments.
companies
East,
during
West-
emergencies.
East Clinton, West Clinton.
and it's also going to provide radios that you can give each of the companies. So
Yep.
that you are all in contact.
Portable radios and stuff.
Yeah.
So the grant was for the equipment, but not the lease of the tower, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when we tried,
Yeah,
we tried to find a workaround on that.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Then we move down to the first thing that changed in the next section is stone, 465. That was increased from 4,000, and it's based on our spending from this year. We've spent quite a bit on stone.
how is that different from the stone up above?
This is the stone we use for like on the dirt roads, when they're soft, mushy, or if we take culvert pipes out to rebed them,
Right.
and to fill the culverts around it with.
What about the one on top, that's 5110, 465?
That's the stone for oil and stone in the roads. It's a different
Oh,
stone, different line item.
Next one that had a change was 468, right below it, culvert pipes. So you guys have one that says $6,000 today. Todd called me and asked if we could raise it to 8. Now, that is actually an increase, and I know the old budget didn't exactly have this, but it's an increase from essentially $0 because we used ARPA funds to pay for the culvert pipes this year. So, but we still spent $6,000 on culvert pipes this year. It was just ARPA
More than
funds.
that, but yes.
Right, I see.
And the increase from the 6 to the 8, just to tell you.
Yeah, that was
for
the
the
part
road
we-
projects was, I'm working with Sean Carroll from Dutchess County Cooperative Extension, Cornell University, Brian Skolick with Dutchess County Soil and Waters for 9 Partners, Pumpkin intersection there, that big metal culvert pipe to get replaced, with the stream running through there and everything. They're helping me with the permits and hopefully get some funding. I don't know if I'm going to get any at all. And then the other one down here is to remedy the culvert pipe in downtown Charlottesville here by the Charlottesville store that runs underneath the road to the old Curtis's property there. That whole retaining wall and that whole side is starting to fall off, break apart and stuff. So before it actually does get any worse, I have those guys help me with that replacement on that head wall and culvert pipe there. Hopefully we'll get some funding. I don't know how much, but hopefully we'll get some funding either through the state or the county on those.
Yes, so Sean Carroll is actually going to do a presentation before Tuesday's board meeting. The town's been working with him on a project for free. They're doing this for us. They've taken an inventory of all of the culverts in town, and they're assessing which ones are in, what shape they're in, and what needs to be replaced, and they eventually will present the town with a full inventory and a report, which is a good first step for us getting grant funding to replace culverts. Basically,
Yep.
it shows that we've done the work to figure out what we need to do, and we'll have a plan moving forward. So Cornell Cooperative Extension is doing this for us for free, but these are 2 culverts that they specifically called us and mentioned.
We've been driving around town with the culvert pipes, like Mike was saying. Just to give you an example quick, there's different ones, they categorize them from not being that bad to being extreme, and we went around to a couple of the extremes, and these were 2 of the ones that were extreme on there. So we have been going around looking at some of them, the worst ones, and trying to remedy those and take care of them. And then the other ones, the smaller ones, it's small stuff, like the exit in the culvert pipe. It's too high off the ground, all we gotta do is just put some stone or gravel or something there. Or the entrance end is too clean. It's gotta have vegetation and everything for the animals to go around and go through the pipe and stuff like that, so it's small stuff. But this was a good project, and it was very good for whoever did this with Sean Carroll and Dutchess County Soil and Waters, because it was a blessing.
So they've started this?
Yes, they're
survey? 'Cause
three-quarters of the way
it was stalled
through.
for quite a while, so.
Yes,
They were doing the inventory, but we kept, waiting for them to want to have meetings with us over Zoom, and they never really scheduled them, so we were wondering where they were at, but we've had a couple now, and
Yeah.
We spent, not this year since we didn't do it, but last year, do you remember what we spent for culvert pipe?
6,000.
It was
It's
6,000?
6,283 or something.
Okay, all right.
I think I might be actually
Because
right,
that pipe
dead on that.
goes under the county road, wouldn't the county be responsible for that?
Fiddler's Bridge is our road. I tried, by the Charlottesville store. If you come out of here, make the right to Charlottesville store,
Yeah.
that big, huge culvert pipe that goes underneath the road there, has a retaining wall by Ricky Pelz's house, has a guardrail right there, right next to the Charlottesville store.
I thought it was on Center Road side.
Nope, all the water comes down through Center, crosses across, and then comes into Marshall's, and it's supposed to filter there, but now with all this flash flooding, it's been coming down, washing that down even more and more, and the exit of that pipe is starting to go, so
Okay.
if we're getting funding, we're trying to get funding.
If,
So there's going to be a change to what you have in front of you guys, moving on to 491 road projects, mile macadam. So first, the list of projects, which we received today from Todd. He and I have spoken about it, but it's Lake Drive. I gave them all copies. of it. Yeah, I gave them copies of it. It's Lake Drive from Omega to Slate Quarry, and about 2
I don't have, Todd, I don't have it.
You don't have it?
No.
This?
It's this little extra sheet.
Here, I got it for you.
Oh, it
Hand
looks
it out with her.
completely different than.
Yeah,
Todd's.
because he used a giant font, and I didn't want to.
I do have it, it just appeared very differently.
And the other project is Schultz Hill, about 2.3 miles of Schultz Hill, which we've been preparing for all of this year.
9 Partners is on the list.
The thing is the amount that's there is $307,021. That was based on CHIPS, Pave New York, and winter recovery. Now, this current year that we're in, we received a Pave Our Potholes Fund for $37,182, I believe it was. And I didn't include it in the number originally because we weren't sure if that program was going to continue. This was the first time they ever had it, and we didn't know if they would continue it. we got confirmation the other day that they are continuing it. So the actual number is going to be $350,203 that we're getting in funding, but that's offset, obviously, in the revenue side. This isn't increasing any of our costs there.
Okay. And then Elliot pointed out that the list on the budget and the list on the new.
Yes, and that's what I was saying, like.
Different, so Nine Partners is off the table.
Partners is
Now
off.
that I've gotten this today, I can put the accurate list in for the
That's
next round.
So 326, 380 is that's the bottom line?
So the 2023 road projects, you think it's going to you think it'll cost about 326?
I think it's probably going to be more than that with the prices of the increases that we've been hearing. Blacktop's going up to almost $100
You
a
just
ton.
gave this to me today.
I know, but that 300, I'm going to stay within the budget, whatever it is.
So you won't go
I'll-
over the three?
Yeah, the 350, 203, I won't go over that, whatever I got in the DOT funding.
So the 307 is gone.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yep.
350, 203.
Okay.
But we have matching revenue for that, so it's a wash in the budget.
The state keeps on talking about cutting back on their reimbursement on things. I mean, how likely are we to,
So far, both conferences I went to, they both state and CHIPS officials said they're not going to cut back onto it.
Yeah.
They're saying, and then the last one I was at with the lady from CHIPS and the comp controller, they said they were leaving this new pop thing in there, which this is new to us. It's like that winter recovery. They keep adding things, So now this pop, and we asked them, is this just like a bone we get just this year? We're not getting, and our contact said, no, you're going to have that definitely next year. So
okay. Yeah, because obviously we're banking on the state giving us money here, then.
Yep.
Right.
Well, we haven't spent it yet, so.
These grants, are they dollar for dollar, or is just it's a flat amount, and if you don't spend it, you get to keep the difference?
Which grants?
Well, like, for example, it says here, DOT funding approximately 350, road projects
They're
approximately.
not grants. That's money we get from CHIPS, Pave New York, winter recovery.
Right, so,
Yeah.
so with that, is
But is it a
We-
direct
we-
reimbursement?
We
reimbursement
spend it
program, yeah.
and they get reimbursed.
Yes.
Okay, so you can't keep it if you have leftover?
No.
I can roll it over if there's money left, you can roll it over.
funding, though.
I see.
And we've used it to buy trucks and things like that,
Okay.
but
But I'll get a statement, March, April timeframe with my total before I start any of my projects for the year. So I wait until I see what money I get from the state before I start my projects. I have a general idea, but I don't start spending money on that until I know I definitely have that money from CHIPS.
All right. All the other things on that list, I made no changes to. Yeah.
The Schultz Hill Road, is that going to be macadam?
Under the macadams.
Greater patch,
Oh,
greater
What's that now?
coating, Schultz Hill Road, is that going to be macadam?
you mean the Schultz Hill?
Yep.
Yeah.
Schultz Hill, this year it was supposed to be chip sealed and then with the fog seal, but the company ran out of time and stuff like that. We were patching that and shimming, it's called T&L, and it just to get it ready for oil and stone, and then we were supposed to put a fog seal, but Gorman, they ran out of time and material and stuff. Yep. So now I'm at a standstill. All the
What's
work-
it going to be next year? when you're
Next
done?
year, it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna finish doing what we were doing, chip sealing it, then doing the fog seal and stuff onto it, the oil and
Oil and
stone.
stone.
Yep.
Yeah.
so the question was about,
You're not macadam again.
There's some spots we have to touch up, yes, that's what's in the budget here, you'll see. But then the rest of it is, three-quarters of it's gonna be the oil and stone and fog seal.
And
I
then-
can't pave that whole thing. If I pave the whole thing of Schultz Hill,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a skating rink with
So
all the
then
hills
Lake
and turns.
Drive from
Yep.
Omega to Slate Quarry is the macadam, though?
Yes, from Omega to Slate Quarry, that's gonna be blacktop.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, there's one mathematical problem here.
What's that?
Ray, you need to come up to the mic because people can't hear you.
I didn't want to,
People don't know what the question is.
If you look on the total for that page, the 5112.0, under adopted budget 2022, you have 251,574. If you look on the summary page for that entry for this year, you have 478,150 or something like that. One of those numbers is wrong.
All
Pick
right, so
one.
can you say it again? Because we were all looking at the detail, and I know that's
Yeah,
not what you have in
no,
your
I
hand.
was on the summary page.
So which one are we saying?
It's in the summary page, where that's the first page in.
in highway.
in the highway. And then it's under Highway Fund. And if you look, second line down, item 1A, under Adopted Budget 2022, it
Yeah.
says 475,000, et cetera. There's a big discrepancy between that one and the other one. I just saying mathematically, there's an error there. I'm
Okay.
not saying it's good or bad, I'm just pointing it out. Somehow you,
Can I see your page? Because I don't see it on mine. Mine has a different number.
that's what was handed out. Yeah, this one.
Oh, 251,000, all right, yeah.
And it should be if you look at the other one.
Oh, so,
So, I don't know if you transferred something wrong or
I-
typed something in wrong.
you're saying it should say 470,000?
Yeah.
So it was adopted last year at 470, and I know why this was transferred wrong. But then once we took the 107,000 out for the excavator that got transferred somewhere else, and then we got the actual numbers of what we're getting with chips.
Yeah, but-
I know, but that's not what was adopted, I understand.
not the adopted
Yeah, so we have to put the adopted number there.
Those are.
That's yeah, this is the real number that was used this year, but we have to put the adopted number in.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah, that's all. As I say, I'm not judging it good or bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying-
Yeah, you'd have to put in an actual 2022 line.
Yeah, that is
Cover
true.
that.
What about the guide rails, the guide rails?
Where are we?
Actually, the numbers are out of sequence. 492.
Yeah, you're right. 492 is above it for some reason.
Yeah, is that
I'm
number
with
the
that.
same? The guide rails?
Yeah, it stayed
No
the same.
change? And this may not matter since the numbers are changing anyhow, but just in case it does matter, under mile macadam,
Mm-hmm.
you've got those 3 grants listed there? Or,
Yeah, and they do not add up to what we're saying because we're adding the
well, they
POP
don't, yeah,
money.
they also don't add up to the
Yeah,
number
yeah,
that's-
we're adding the POP money. I knew that was all going to change, so I didn't really mess with it yet.
Okay,
I'll get to it.
all right.
The only number that's wrong is the chip number.
Yeah, the others are the same.
The is correct, the
Yeah.
winter recovery is correct.
Yeah, and then we need to add the pothole.
Okay.
All right, so the rest of them there, as I said, I didn't change. Does anybody have any
Nope.
comments? The next thing on mine, the next page starts with bridge item 2, the 0. Under machinery, item 3, I made no changes. None were requested, and come on up.
Maybe I got an old sheet, but this is what was given out when you distributed it on Monday, or Tuesday or Thursday. I picked it up on the back here.
What about it?
Okay, well, I have a question here where it says lease tools and equipment. You went from budget of this year, 123,300 to 7,000 in the budget for this year.
Because that 123,000 included the 107,000 for an excavator that was from 2021 that was pushed onto 2022. So
So you're buying no more equipment
we're
next
not
year?
buying an excavator for 107,000 next year, no.
No, I understand, I understand that part, but I'm just saying, you're not buying any more equipment next year, or are we gonna have this emergency purchase that we buy a new truck every
With you
other
on that.
quarter?
I'm with you on that, Ray, but there is no
So,
plan.
I mean, you're not reflecting what reality is gonna be. I'm sure you're gonna cave in and give it another truck or two.
Well, hang on. Todd has been working very hard to make sure that you get a new truck when you need it and that all of the trucks are maintained so that you don't hit those. And I'm not saying that something's not going to fall apart because things happen, but he has really been working to keep it so that there are no surprises.
And he and I have recently been having conversation about not only getting the inventory, which we get every year from them, of their equipment, but including in that inventory when they believe that equipment will need to be replaced, because that is not currently in the inventory.
Because
And
when you
we are
buy
about to
trucks, you know, you're
purchase-
talking
We are
100,000.
about to purchase,
We are about to purchase a truck.
Oh, I know you are.
In this year's budget.
Yeah.
right, but on.
But that's not from this money.
Yeah, that's a
Well, no,
pickup
but to
truck.
further my point, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bolster my
Yeah.
point.
So to Ray's point, Todd, do you anticipate any emergency service purchases next year?
No,
I don't know.
we purchased the 2 new trucks.
Yep.
2 years ago.
I know.
And then, like I said, the truck we're talking about, just so everybody knows, it's just a pickup truck we're purchasing this year, but that's the highway wreck and cemetery truck. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as updating any more equipment and trucks, I can't, because if I do that, Ray, I'm gonna be way over my budget. I can survive with what I have right now. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
but we know what we can
anticipating
survive with now.
With the inventory, yeah. So I'm not next year's budget, but the following year's budget, yes, I will be asking for probably another truck, but next year, budget '23, I can't. There's no way, without going over budget and raising taxes through the roof. I'll deal with what I have.
Okay. I just asked because it's so dramatic. The other question I have is contractual. With the purchase of all these new vehicles and new excavators and what all you bought, I don't care. Why are we spending so much, $145,000 on maintenance? That's your 5150.4 line.
I see it.
I mean, the object is not to have to
Is
spend.
to buy these things and not have to spend it.
Yeah, so why is it the same number?
It's been the same number, Ray,
I
for the
know.
last 2-3 years, because
it has.
we do maintenance on our vehicles, and with what the old vehicles we have, we're trying to get the parts and everything to try to keep them going, so I don't have to spend $225, $200, $300, $400,000 for a brand-new truck, when I can keep the maintenance money and patch the trucks and keep them as long as possible. I mean, I've been doing sufficient with what we have there now, and if there's any surplus out of that, I'd roll it over into contingency or somewhere else, but usually I'm about zero on those numbers for the maintenance, trying to keep up what we have. Yes, we do have new trucks and one new excavator that's ours, but everything else I've been trying to maintain what we have.
Michael, do you have the amount to date for that line item?
I really am kind of, I
What about
I do
repairs?
not have it, and I thought I did.
Does
That's what I
that-
was looking for
That
earlier.
usually come
Have
about
your supervisors
90,000 too?
report?
Yes.
That's what I mean, I thought I had it
Yep.
with me, but I don't. It's on my, it's on
Yeah,
my
and the
desk.
repair
It
price
must
has
be.
been going up too. Oil, mechanic price has been going up.
I probably have it in my email.
Yeah, it's not going to be
I
fun to
mean,
read.
yeah, I can do it. I want to look something up, pardon me being on my, I don't think I've sent it to you guys yet.
Well, even last month's would be some better.
Oh, yeah.
Than something, and nothing.
Well, I mean, the reality is Ray has a point
Yeah,
that obviously if you're buying new equipment, you shouldn't have the maintenance, but Todd also has a point, and Melissa, for the fact that everything, if you could get, is costing more. So,
And
could it be a balance? Could be a balance, could be more, could be less. I mean,
Right.
who knows for sure?
to Todd's point too, the way that we avoid having to continuously buy new things is that they are now maintaining more in the highway garage.
Sure.
So
I mean,
currently.
but there has been
Maintaining more
questions as to why we're
Yeah.
buying so much new
in
equipment
terms
too.
of doing
So,
it
I mean,
themselves? Is that what you mean when you say maintaining more?
Yeah, the major repairs line, I think, is the place where probably we don't need 90,000. But that's one of those things when an emergency happens and all of a sudden,
do you want it there
Yeah,
and not
do we
use
want
it,
it
or
there?
do
You
you
want it
have to
there. If a
find
motor
it?
goes, you're talking 20,
Exactly.
25,000.
Like-
Tranny goes, you're talking 15,
so this
20,000
year,
or more.
there's still 40,000 in that line so far this year.
But this is the tail end of the winter, so now we're transitioning from the summer trucks, now we're starting to bring in the winter trucks. Now you're replacing the air lines, now you're replacing the hydraulic lines and stuff. Now,
guys do the
you'll see the next
maintenance
couple of months, I'm gonna be chewing that up pretty good.
You do the maintenance
they-
in-house, right?
Everything and anything we can, yes,
Yeah.
we
Almost
try to do in-house.
I think-
If anything major, I ship it out, if we can't handle it.
Yeah.
$20,000 left at this
So
point
there's
isn't
some of that
bad.
55,000 is salary
it's
time? Is
pretty-
that how you figure that
Kinda nailed it.
55,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that number. From there on, we go to the snow season. Those wages are
all
per the contract.
all set.
I do have to say, though, under MEO pay, I made an oops. It was just a typo. The MEO pay is $21.78, not $27.78. So that will be reflected in our next round.
That's going to bring the number down a little bit.
Yeah.
2170?
Yeah, 2178. I just actually accidentally hit 2778.
Oh, okay. Over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We kept salt, sand, calcium, all the same, although, did you ask for an increase in calcium?
No. No, because I got the calcium's twice in there, if you haven't noticed. Once for the summer, and then this is for the winter.
Yeah, and we've been doing a good job with the salt and sand and keeping it packed up before the next winter comes. And
Yep. Sand, we're gonna have a problem this year. The gravel banks are closing, there's no mining permits. My contact to Peckham, Dutchess Quarry, they're not entertaining any sand bids, they're buying it themselves now. 82 Sand and Gravel has sand, but that goes to the contractors and to BTM themselves. The only other thing we have now is, Red Wing's got that pea stone. And it's almost like the big stones on the blacktop you guys seen a couple of years ago, and I do not like that. It pings off the cars, the trucks, and everything else, and it makes a mess. So, like we were saying, the sand, it looks like with the Easy Pass you guys were talking, it's solite across the river there. It's $5 for every 200 tons. I got to take 200 tons at a time, and it's $5. Now, if I was going down to Peckham here, it was $17 or $18 a ton to go down and pick it up.
Yeah,
That's
so-
our savings right there.
And that's the easy pass.
And that's the Easy Pass going back and forth. And it's not like the salaries are already figured in and that stuff. It's rainy days. When there's nothing to do in the shop, you can't go out on the roads and work, that's when they're gonna haul the sand in.
So you think this is enough for sand?
Yes. We have some down back stockpiled. Now, the sand I'm getting, that's the sand we're also using on the dirt roads in the spring and summer and fall. That's that blue stone with the chips. So it's serving a dual purpose. We're sanding with it in the winter, and we're also using it for the dirt roads in the spring, summer, and fall.
So then moving on from there, the next big one is the benefits, Social Security. That's just an automatic calculation based on pay rates. Workers' comp, I got the quotes, that's the accurate number of what we're gonna be charged next year. Insurance rates, at first, we were told there would be a 13% increase. Good news, it's only 8%. Only. So these numbers represent that 8% increase. Same with the HRA, I think is staying the same. Those numbers didn't change, shockingly. Vision, dental, we have those rates for the next 3 years. We know what that schedule is going to be. And
Let me throw out a question here,
Yeah.
Todd. The salt price is, cost is so much higher. Is that because you use more of it, or it's just more expensive?
I think it's limited availability, right?
Then salt versus sand, the price is so much higher.
Salt's a lot more, even though we're under the county contract. I've been trying to keep that full. So if we get hit with an early winter, October, November, December, knock on wood, pray to God, hopefully we don't, we already have the salt shed filled. So every year, at the end of the year, I usually take whatever's left and I fill that up, so this way we don't have to buy it at a higher rate the following year, you know what I mean? So I at least have half to three-quarters of a shed or more every single year starting. I never ever let it get down below half. I just keep that stockpiled, so you never know when the prices are gonna be going up here.
Salt is more expensive than sand?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, then we use the salt more for the, yep.
I thought with the magic salt, you were using less.
I just got, that last conference I went to, speaking of that, Innovative Solutions is off the state bid, OGS pricing, and they have that magic salt. They'll come down with a pug mill. I'm just waiting on prices. And what we'll do is we'll take the salt out of the shed. They come in with a pug mill. They mix it with the magic salt. We put it back in the shed. Towards the tail end of the season last year, I don't know if you guys remember, I told you guys we were using it as a trial basis. It did wonders. It cut down on our time quite a bit. You know, when we averaged out the 3 storms that we had, that we did use it. So I'm looking into that avenue right now to try to save some money also, is bringing in that pug mill, mixing it, and putting it in there. So instead of going 25% with the salt, now we might be able to reduce the salt usage a little bit more. I know by...
Because you were just spraying it as you were loading, right?
Yep, yeah, and it was wasting
What's
it.
the difference between You said magic salt, is that?
It's magic salt. It's like molasses, barley, hops, it's byproducts.
It's usually the bottom of the
Grabbed a little
barrel.
bit and used it on my driveway last
Yeah.
year just to test it too. It's pretty good. It worked out.
Yeah, it's all natural. It's safe. Your dogs can walk onto it and everything else. It's not,
Okay.
there was a whole big sheet onto it with the state and stuff. I know by 2030, I got to reduce that was at the conference too. That's why I still like going to both of those conferences. But anyways, the other conference, by 2023, I got to reduce my salt usage by 25%. By 2030, I got to start looking into hybrid vehicles because by 2025, they're switching over with the dealerships and the trucks right now. Red Hook's looking at electric sweep truck, vac truck, electric right now. These vehicles are out there, and now with the state guidelines and the laws and stuff, we're not going to be able to get our trucks anymore. That's why the maintenance with these trucks, I want to try to keep these older trucks, these newer trucks with the emissions and everything else, it's hard. I don't have the mechanics, the tools, or the computer to fix some of these trucks. That's why when we bought these trucks, we got the 5-year extended warranty on to them on top of the 3-year bumper to bumper in case some of this happens. But once these vehicles get older, that's why we did the inventory, and now we have a plan, 10, 15, 20-year plan with the vehicles, trucks, and equipment to start turning these over. I don't need to purchase brand-new vehicles and trucks every single year, folks. If I do it, it's an emergency and I can justify it. I'm only trying to buy stuff and do stuff to help this town. Like the last
You get
3
to
years, I've been
continue
staying under my
using
budget.
You do get to continue using them until they're. right?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to just stop using them.
No,
on
no.
a certain day.
But you figure the lifespan of it.
Right.
And then the value of what it's worth for a trade-in. You know, do you want to keep it and beat a dead horse where you're not going to get nothing for it, or something that's halfway decent, you can still get some money back onto it.
Right.
So,
All right. Thank you for that.
Mike, I have a question for you.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. It's like a bookkeeping question, so
Okay.
help me along with this. Let's just look underneath the overtime pay. D5142.120. It says hours per year, 150. So does that mean that all of the guys that fall underneath that section, which would be
Each
1,
of them
2,
can
3,
work up
4,
to
5,
150.
that would be a total of 6 of them,
Yeah.
can have a total of 150 hours of overtime. I can't go over that.
For each of them.
For 6 of them,
Yeah.
okay. And then my 7th
For each of
guy,
them. For each one of them.
For each.
Each one of
for
them.
all 9 of them?
Yes.
Not
They
not
all-
total,
okay, they-
individually,
Yes.
Okay,
not a total number, but an individual number.
okay, so 150 times 9
Right.
is what we're talking.
Yeah, and obviously this is where we budget for unexpected strong winters.
Okay,
It doesn't happen.
And that's where your surpluses are generated when we don't have a strong winter.
oh, yeah, okay. And then probably very micromanaging, but, that bottom section for the guy that has, has under 5 years of service, you've got listed number of employees too.
Where are we at?
Same section, but on the bottom, you see how you
Oh,
have them
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
sectioned out, like
Yeah,
20
yeah.
plus, 15 plus?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got a total of 3 guys that have under 5 years
And that-
of service,
one
not
of-
2.
One of them is an MEO, right?
Correct.
So that's the next one down. I just didn't put the longevity there, sorry about that.
I see how you did it, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that, I should explain that in those parentheses, the 20 plus, 15 plus. That's just letting us know what pay rate they're on, and that's on that matrix in the highway.
And does it not really matter because it's all kind of figured into that 36,000?
Exactly, it's all in the 36,000.
So it doesn't really matter.
But, you know, in previous budgets, it was just sort of an aggregate of their wages. So this gives us at least more detail of how many people are getting what wages.
Okay. Under the MEO section,
Yeah,
it's 4167, but we're going to change that to
oh, because it
3267.
was calculated on the mistyped 2178. So that's going to automatically change when I change it to 2178, that one will automatically
It'll change that, it'll reduce that number.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
All right, so moving past that, we did the workers' comp and insurance. I think the only thing left, we have $5,000 in there for buying back of sick and vacation days, not comp days. As you can see, that's crossed out. That one's hard to know, but 5,000 has served us this year. And then on the very last page, the contractually obligated debt service payments for the two plow trucks. And that's that for expenses. And then for revenue, obviously the taxes are automatically calculated after we do all of the other things and make the other decisions, but the $92,008 is a brand-new contract that we are going to approve on Tuesday with Dutchess County for plowing their roads. It's an increase from last year. Sale of scrap, what, yeah?
How much of an increase?
The increase, I don't know what it was last year.
7,200.
Oh, it was the 7,200 total? Sale of scrap,
From 7,200 to 9,200?
no, we increased it by 7,200. We're getting $7,200 more this year than we did last year.
Okay,
Or
got
more in
it.
2023 than we did this year.
All right.
And
So-
is that enough to make up for the rising
So-
cost of everything?
It breaks even because we gotta go across the roads anyways to get to ours.
And,
No, I understand
well,
that.
So they are, apparently, tell us that they have a number that they cannot go above. I don't know if it's by law, but that is the limit of their number.
92,000.
They could not increase more than that. Now,
And we have a limit that we could say no.
well, sure, but I will say that 92,000 is basically planning for the two new plow trucks.
I understand. That's why we bought the two new
Yeah.
plow trucks. but
Yeah, because we had
it's-
this.
'Cause we,
Um,
But
So-
then we negotiated, we increased it for this year.
Yeah, so this
Next
is-
year, we can-
This is a 3-year contract, and in the second year, we didn't renegotiate, and so there was no increase in the second year. This is the third year, which we got an increase now in the third year, and we'll fight for that every year.
So they don't increase automatically? You have
No, you have to,
All right,
yeah.
It's negotiable.
let's negotiate.
Moving down to, well, we talked about pave, gyps, extreme winter recovery. I'm going to add a line for the POP, which is the pave our potholes. That'll be $37,182. And I believe that's that.
What is the revenue on the maintenance? How would that happen?
The revenue what? Oh, so that's a shared services
Oh,
agreement.
that's shared services?
So that's other towns paying us.
I got it. Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah,
Comments?
I'm sorry, you said the POP, is that what it was?
Yeah, it's gonna be $37,182.
Right, okay. And that would be .4, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. Any other comments?
So these numbers are small, so it's not worth fussing about, but the mini excavator shows up with nothing, shared services, these two grants, but then these show up with,
Yeah, because this is the one that we have a shared service. Some of these are legacy, you know?
right, got it.
It's either maintenance or insurance, is what you're saying. We share it.
Yeah. I also want to point out on the back of the
Got it.
wages and salary sheet on the very back of the budget. This pertains to highway, the highway temp workers at the very bottom. It didn't transfer over, I gotta figure that out, but it would be $15.76 an hour, not $15.30 on that sheet. It does say $15.76 in the budget itself, it just didn't transfer to that sheet. Yes,
On your revenue,
yes,
those three numbers that you have.
Yes.
I'm quite sure you have the POP amount in there. I think you just don't literally have it in writing. You don't have the
Where
So
would
the
it be?
total is included?
That total of three, if you add those three numbers together, you get 350,203. I just think you haven't literally written the words POP.
Well, but 35203 is on your sheet here that says New York State DOT funding.
Yeah.
That's what
Correct.
352
Yeah,
So I think he
what I'm
has-
saying is I'm going to break out the POP. So
Yeah.
Now it's 2 years in a row. We know it's going to be an item. So I'm not going to hide it in other numbers
Got
with
it.
So you
chips.
think
But
it's,
you knew it was included. You're not, she doesn't
Yeah.
want you to list it
so
twice.
it's
That's
included
what
in
you-
one of those three?
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Okay.
It's included in the chips number.
In the
Okay.
okay.
That's-
all right.
there we go.
Okay.
Sorry if I was unclear on that. Going once? Twice? I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? Second.